Republican and Democrat coaches of the congressional baseball team speaking yesterday. Today, those two teams will take the field in a charity baseball game marred by violence but packed with promise for a more unified country. It was the news we first reported on yesterday, a gunman opening fire on the Republican team's practice for one of the new bipartisan events left on Capitol Hill. Last night, President Trump and the First Lady visited Congressman Steve Scalise, his wife, and one of the Capitol Hill officers injured in the shooting. Congressman Scalise remains in critical condition this morning. Joe, before we start off the show, let's just take a moment and take in what's now a story that's 24 hours old, but I think really is having an effect across the board on the climate that we're in politically right now.
I think so. First of all, obviously our prayers are with Steve Scalise and the others that were shot and injured and are still struggling and will struggle for a long time. I know you meant to say 24 hours. Mm-hmm. You said this is actually, I think 24 years, a story 24 years in the making may be right. Mm-hmm. The New York Times this morning editorialized and I think they got some of their facts wrong, but the overall conclusion was right. The heated rhetoric in this country has to calm down. We have been saying it on this show for a decade now. It's actually the purpose of this show, where you can actually debate other people and get along at the end. There has been a disconnect in American society, in American culture, and in American politics. As Mike Doyle said, driven in part by social media, driven in part by heated cable news, driven in part by fake news on the internet, driven in part by hate mongers who actually make money and become fabulously wealthy, creating conspiracy theories that paint the other side as evil. Now, we have come together. We came together after 9/11. There was that beautiful moment when Republicans and Democrats took to the steps, and I believe they sang "God Bless America." After Gabby Giffords, you had cable news presidents firing some of their more extreme voices. And I remember everybody over at Fox News on the right, MSNBC on the left at the time, telling everybody, you've got to calm down. This is for real. There are guardrails we have to put out there, and that's really important to know. And I think it's very important too, Harold Ford, let me bring you in, because we work together as Republicans and Democrats alike on the Hill. You got me in trouble the first time I ever met you because we actually got along so well. Harold, for those that don't know, Harold and I were on the Education Committee. He had a bipartisan reform plan that the Republicans and Democrats wanted no part of. So he just came over in the middle of the committee. Yeah, would not let us bring it up. Came over to me and said, "Hey, buddy, could you sign on to this?" I said, "Good to meet you. Yeah, look, it looks pretty good." Signed on to it, and the leaders got angry, but that's the sort of thing that actually still happened back then, Harold. And I do want to say, we've been awfully hard on President Trump. I want to salute the president for what he said yesterday. I want to salute the members of Congress for what they said yesterday. I salute the New York Times. I salute people on the right and the left for talking about the need of dialing back this. We can disagree. We can even fight. But at the end of the day, we have to let people out there know that we're on the same team.
One of these unspeakable lows this morning, it's gratifying and refreshing to hear your words, to hear Joe Barton's words yesterday, standing alongside Mike Doyle, thanking him and Democrats for providing gifts to his kids. I don't think these are things that average, everyday consumers of political news really appreciate, the kind of camaraderie that exists. I also appreciated some of the things said yesterday by others, that we've reached a time where sort of the John McCain back in 2008, when he chastised one of his own supporters for making comments questioning whether or not President Obama, then candidate Obama, was born in the United States and whether or not he was a Muslim, saying that's not true. He's a decent man. We just have different viewpoints about the future of the country. As low as a moment as yesterday was, it was pleasing to see so many members of Congress and political figures rise to the moment.
And Mika, there's no, you know what? We can always press the reset button. We can always move forward. And I'm talking about everybody from President Trump to the most vile person that's whipping up conspiracy theories to make millions of dollars that it might end up killing people. It's critical, though, for those members, for House members, to actually do what Harold and I did, and not only form a friendship across party lines, but when you go home to town hall meetings and they say, well, how horrible is Harold Ford? That guy is... And you say, no, actually, you know what? Harold's a good friend of mine. I may not agree with him on all points, but you all have to understand. I mean, this is what I said to my people in my town hall meetings. We're on the same team.
Right.
We may get to where we want to go in different places, but we're all against ISIS. We all want a better life for our children. We all want the next generation to do better than our generation. Now, Bernie Sanders, I personally think Bernie Sanders' economic pathway forward would be devastating if we let Bernie Sanders do everything that Bernie Sanders wanted to do. But I love the guy. I respect him. I love his energy. And we need to work, and we need to borrow ideas from people with whom we disagree. And most importantly, we've got to tell our constituents, no.
Right.
They are not the enemy. They are on our team. They are Americans.
It's a complicated time, though. I hope that the reset you're talking about is possible. I'm not convinced, actually, given the dynamics of what we're covering.
Mika, it's probably not possible, but we've got to try. We have got to try, and we've got to keep trying. You know, just like after, I think it was Gabby Giffords, members of the House, Republicans sat next to Democrats, Democrats sat next to Republicans. That's an important message to send out to America, to those that don't have the guardrails, that are detached from reality, to not think that even members of Congress see the other side as the enemy. That's a start.
Agree.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.